All right, we are back here for another Warpstone Cup. And we got a fun one for you guys today. Take a look at our bracket. We've got Randommnix versus HDS to start us out. They're going to be doing Undertaker versus Ronin. Before we jump into our game, let's take a real quick look at our bracket. So, the way that we do these nowadays, when I say these, I'm referring to Turn and myself, we use the Glory of Challenge. So now we have an open enlistment, guys. So what you can do is you can jump onto Turns and myself's weekly tournament Discord, and you can now sign up and pretty much just go through this whole bracket system until you get to the semifinals and the finals. So, as always, if this is your first time tuning in, this will be a series of best-of-3 matches, followed by the finals, which are the best-of-5. This is the Warpstone Cup Competitive League, qualifier number 2. We will have 2 more qualifiers before the grand finals, which will be held at a date to be determined. Let's take a look here at our matchups. We've seen Randommnix kind of push through. He's 2-0'd everyone in his journey here to the semifinals. Looking at HDS, a similar tale, right? 2-0 against both Frank Drebin and Papa Palpatine. Looking over down at Undertaker and Ronin, Undertaker was 2-0 against Third Tier, and then 2-1 against Falcon. Falcon was not able to take down the mighty Undertaker, and Ronin himself 2-0ing all the way to the finals. Our semifinals as well. So we have a really fun one here for you guys. If you want to see the matchups or the seeds, you can see them in the description below. If you'd like to get involved in the tournament scene, there's also a link to those Discords as well. But let's take a look over here at our chat real quick. Jimbo J did an awesome donation here of £2 or pounds. Those are pounds. Those are quids. That's pounds. That's pounds. Pounds and quids are the same fucking thing. I'm going to say euros or pounds. Cheeky £2 for the stream dream. Thank you very much, Jim. Appreciate it, man. We got Dasoct, who just signed up again for membership on the channel, and Crisps and Milk and Cookies Total War are joining us as admin. What's up, Indy? What's up, Crisps? Okay, so let's take a look here. Is anyone else getting lag? Make sure, let me know if you guys are getting lag. I can fix that. We're going to jump back over to our bracket here and take a look at our competitors and see if they're ready to go. I'm pretty sure they're good to go. Let me just double check. Good. No lag. Got someone who just subscribed. Gotta love that. All right, so we're about to jump right in here. The personalized ads they get. What ads do I get right now? Yeah, I don't know why I'm getting some of these. Like Warrior 7. Like I don't look up Warrior 7. Then it's like Cook Slow, El Pollo Loco. Like, okay, I can go with that. And then like Hotels and Resorts, Soul Matters, the Caribbean. Like, I'm not going to the Caribbean anytime fucking soon. So, we're going to be jumping into our very first match here on the map of Galbaraz, followed by Rakdo Ridge and Praag if it goes to round 3. HGS is going to be choosing Chaos with Randommnix on the Tomb Kings. Randommnix did the picks first, and HGS picked Chaos. I unfortunately didn't look at the picks and bans, unfortunately, guys, but we'll take a look at that as we load into our first match of the day on qualifier number 2. So as everyone kind of gets loaded up again, these are going to be 2 best-of-3 semifinals, followed by a best-of-5 finals, in which case we'll see either Randommnix or HDS square off between the winner of the Undertaker and Ronin. So we'll take a look at how that goes. Both of our opponents are sizing up their armies, getting everything kind of placed on the battlefield right now. We'll wait for that to kind of keep going through as I drink my gamer pre-workout to further increase my neuroticism and anxiety. Let's see how this goes. Let me know if any sound is off, if the game is too loud, any of that kind of action, as always, bros. I'm going to jump on over to the stream here. And I'm actually going to remove myself from the corner. You know, I mean, the showcase here is the players, not me. So, taking a look over at... it's a bit laggy, huh? I kind of look around that. I'm seeing no dropped frames and 160 frames per second. So, you might want to refresh the stream real quick if you are getting some lag. as I kind of look for myself, it's like it is looking a little choppy, but it shows 80 frames a second. So let me know, guys, if it is still lagging up. Funky. Okay, this might help out. We'll close this. I'm always the show. Thank you. We're going to close this as well. Oh, I know the problem here. That's going to fix it all. Sorry. Sorry about that, guys. There we go, there we go. I had display capture on. That can sometimes make things laggy. So, taking a look real quick here at Randommnix's front line, we can see he's going to have a nice good line of Skeleton Warriors intermixed with Skeleton Spearmen. Again, this is Chaos, so you're going to be using the driving force of your army mixed in between your larger creatures, your constructs. You're not going to be using your infantry to really stop that grinding war machine of Chaos. Taking a look too, we're also going to be seeing 3 units of Ushapti, a lot of anti-infantry and AP coming out of these bad boys. The Sphinx of Usek, an amazing anti-large AP magic and flaming attacks powerhouse, as well as 2 Necrotechs to help out with some replenishment on those constructs. The Grand Hierophant Cataph, not on his Roomba, surprisingly enough, with the spells. You know, I can never remember these off the top of my head. Jat's Incantation of Cursed Blade, Incantation of Protection, and Usek's Incantation of Desiccation. Now, we also have some skirmisher play with the Skeleton Horsemen Archers here. Now, they only have 76 speed, so they're not that fast compared to, of course, the 90 speed of Marauder Horsemasters. HDS, on the other hand, here has gone with a nice amount of Horsemasters on both flanks, already getting some prodding shots into Random's army. Big charge coming in from the Ushabti, but look at to just kind of screen back behind the army. They look like they got a little ahead of their bros there. Our first charge in for the Marauders into those Spearmen, right into Usek's Spearmen right there. And we also see Prince Sigvald as the leadership elements for HDS. Now getting a good surveillance of the battlefield here. Missing a Bailey cam. Sorry, Chris Bilkington. So really, it's going to be a little bit of skirmisher on skirmisher cav action. The Marauder Horsemasters can shut these guys down in melee as well as from range. You can see that HDS is just pushing in with them. He's going to be pushing also in with those Chaos Marauders and Screen of Dragon Ogres on the right flank over there. Just really help get that pounding action in from those ogres. Usek's over here trying to get some big damage in across the front line, but he does have some chosen halberds poking him in the butt here with some AP and anti-large coming out from them as the Ushabti make short work of these aspiring champions and their leadership elements on the left flank of the battlefield. Let me go ahead and actually shut off the selection markers. That'll help kind of make it a little bit classier. What's up, Wicked? We got him jumping in here. Wicked is one of the moderators of Turin's weekly Discord channel, and he really kind of helps us get these big tournaments off the ground. Prince Sigvald is in bad shape. He is surrounded now by some, by the Necrotech, by 2 Ushabti units. He's pretty much boxed in right now. So it's a pretty dangerous situation that HDS finds himself in. We can really see the balance power bar is at that 50-50. All these Marauder Horsemasters have dealt with all the skirmisher cav from Randommnix's army, and they're now kind of coming over here to do some additional damage to these larger constructs to console these things out and shoot into them. So there's a lot of great fun that's going to be happening from those guys as they just chuck spears down range. Where is Hierophant? Aha! I was like, where is Cataph? Cataph is just kind of riding dirty, trying to escape the plotting might of the Dragon Ogres. They do have that anti-large and that AP, so they will do quite a bit of damage, especially if they get in Cataph all wrapped up here. But you can see Randommnix is putting a lot of pressure on the Sigvald. Sigvald is very tanky in and of himself. He can wade through a ton of damage. He does have regeneration, according to his armor, right? Get that right there. There it is, the Auric armor, which gives him replenishment. A little bit of health there, kind of helps him stay in that battlefield. The worst part about Sigvald, though, is he does have some pretty low leadership. It is nice that he has immune to psychology, so everything here having fear and terror, depending on what the unit is, that's going to help him out quite a bit. Ooh, what's dropped down here? It'll Spirit Leech onto that Necrotech. That Necrotech, of course, is going to be giving the replenishment to Big Daddy Usek over here. But he's making short work of whatever he can, but he's getting pinned in by the Dragon Ogres. You can see how HDS is trying to wrap around these Chaos Warriors to keep Sphinx of Usek kind of pinned in. But that's such a big bad boy, he can just plod through all of these other units and kind of make his own way downtown. I really like the construct of this this Chaos Army, Ronin was just saying, Arrow would be proud of this Chaos Army. It's very reliant on the Dragon Ogre focus, reliant on these Marauders Horsemen with throwing axes and Horsemasters. Now, I like the mix of these two because, you know, with throwing axes, you do get a lot of AP damage. And look at them just shooting down range at the Sphinx of Usef. They're really well insulated by these Dragon Ogres, getting a good amount of blockage in there. At the same time, though, Dragon Ogres are getting focused by the Ushabti. Ooh. Oh, man. I believe that's Desiccation dropping down from Usef, or the bound Bone Storm he gets. Or Cataph, not Usef. Will of Force? I'm not sure. I actually kind of like Cataph, especially since they buffed up the Roomba so much. But speaking of Cataph, he's going right here after Sigvald, getting some relief effort in from the Chaos Sorcerer of Death on HDS's side. Balance of Power Bar is shifting, though, in favor of Randommnix, as HDS kind of tries to hold on with this. He's getting a lot of really good damage in with the Marauder Horseman, but it's just not enough to really capsize the massive Sphinx of Usaf. He can just simply blow through everything he's up against. The Dragon Ogres have fled the main portion of this battlefield here. They're kind of coming back over in this portion, trying to get some good damage again back onto Big Daddy Usef over here. This thing is such a beast. 100 armor. I mean, for a big construct, it's got a good amount of melee defense at 53, and it does such a high amount of damage across such a vast amount of damage across flaming attacks, magic attacks, AP, anti-large. It's just such a beast. Look at that. Kateph's not liking that little duel here with the aspiring sorcerer, or Chaos Sorcerer of Death, as he hacks at him. And that balance of power bar is looking a little dicey all of a sudden, as we see Grand Herotep Cataph is now got a Spirit Leech dropped on him. His health is down to 559. Usef has got a new target in that Chaos Sorcerer of Death, who's getting pinned down now from the Skeleton Horseman, trying to chase him down so that Usef can just drop the double scythe into the face there. Oh, man. Now, the balance power bar did kind of waver a little bit. We did have the summoned units of the Ushabti in. That does kind of superficially bloat that balance of power bar. But you can see it's kind of stabilizing a little bit as HDS tries to bring back his Horsemasters, his Marauder throwing axes. Oh, and Cataph just gets blown up, getting a nice little one-up there for HDS. But he does still have this big Usef to deal with. The Necrotechs over here, I'm not sure how many replenishments they've got left, but he's just about at his healing cap. And that's going to be pretty rough for him. But taking a look at the Horsemasters, they're pretty much all out of ammunition. So the threat that they can pose to this thing is going to be pretty minimal in the coming little moments of this battle. There's still 2-3 full units, well, not full, 2-3 units of Ushabti that are going to really do a lot of damage over here. Prince Sigvald's in bad shape, surrounded by anti-infantry and AP units, ready to just take off his beautiful, lovely golden locks. And back here we just see some more Skirmisher Cab play as they kind of mop things up. And HDS is looking pretty grim here against the full might of the Tomb Kings. So a really amazing first battle here of our qualifier. We can still see the back and forth kind of ebb and flow of this battle, but I think as soon as we get Prince Sigvald to completely kind of capitulate, it's going to be a win for the mighty HDS. With the ammunition kind of teetering out and everything kind of wavering, I think there it is. Army losses kicking in, and Randommnix pulls ahead 1-0 in our first qualifier. And you wanted me to have a big, thick accent, Duster? I'm so sorry, man. Let's go ahead and adjust the scoreboard here. Left score 1. So taking a look at these two builds, again, very unique as from HDS's perspective. I like the split play of both Horsemasters and Throwing Axes. Throwing Axes are really going to threaten those larger constructs, while at the same time Horsemasters can really help you out with that anti-skirmish cav play. I think that's a really, really good call there, because you do have access to so much cheap skirmish cav from the Tomb Kings. Adversely, with Randommnix, I like that he relied he relied heavily on his constructs and less on his front lines. Cheap skeleton warriors, use them to bog down the front line of HDS's army. I like this kind of counterplay there, and I think it worked out very well in his favor. I mean, those Ushabti, they stayed through the fight the entirety of the time, especially with the Sphinx of Usef getting focused down, but still able to plot out a lot of damage across the battlefield. So let's jump into our second match here as we see what goes on. Rakdo Ridge going down here. That first match of the game is always so like intense because it goes from like stream start, stream explain everything, stream to this, and then back here. We're gonna have a little time to kind of calm down, take a look at chat, see what's going on. So Logan Hearn was saying, I don't know what to do about kind of getting started in the online portion of the game. He's sitting having a lot of trouble playing as Lizardman, as a main. What I would say, Logan, is really just smash your head against the wall as far as playing as many games as you can. If you hit the like button, you get a free puppy. That's the best way to get better at the game. Playing people that are better than you, who can tell you what you did wrong, that really helps you out. Like, I play with Falcon, and Falcon will tell me exactly what I did wrong with my build, or what I did wrong with my deployment, what I did wrong with pressing certain buttons, so on and so forth. That really is what helps kind of get you better at the game. So yeah, Rakdo Ridge is going to be our next one. HTS is picking Lizardmen, and he bans both the Dwarfs and Empire. Good call there. They're going to be having a lot of larger cannons, a lot of ways to really shut down the Lizardmen from range across AP on all of the range units, on AP on your artillery pieces. You have really devastating Empire Cav with AP, so a lot of really good choices for both Dwarfs and Empire against Lizards. Now, it'd be really ballsy if Randommnix went with Bretonia, which is not the best pick. You want some Gollum voice? Is that what you want, King of the Dead? Logan, I've been playing... the amount of combined hours I have on Total War, Warhammer 1 and 2 is really high. And I'm still not that good. The worst thing, I'd say the biggest thing about competitive play is that it is a very depreciating skill set. If you do not stay on top of your micro, constantly look at the meta, constantly playing at least like 1 or 2 games a day, if not like a certain amount a week, you can really fall behind fast. Like, it's kind of scary how quick your micro can really kind of go to shit in a game like this. Strategy games in specific really have that as like a trait of theirs. What's up, Hugh Gedney? I know, I need a Bailey cam. Does it want a Gollum voice, precious? What's taters, precious? What's taters? I haven't watched it in a long time, and I watch it every so often just to kind of refresh the quotes and the voice. Rakdo Ridge, going to be Lizardmen versus the Skaven. HDS is going to be on Lizardmen. Randommnix is going to be playing the Skaven. This is, of course, a best of 3. Randommnix has 1 win up against HDS right now. So if he pulls off another win right here, he'll be pushing into the finals against the winner of Undertaker versus Ronin. Remember, guys, this is our second qualifier. If you do want to get involved in the qualifiers, for either the Eternal Challenger League on Turin's channel or the WCCL right here, you just go ahead and join the weekly tournament, Turin's weekly tournament Discord. You can find a link to that in the description below. That'll allow you to get access to the open invites that we host every time we do one of these. We usually start them a week in advance, so Turin will probably put his up tomorrow, tonight, something like that. Am I looking forward to the Lord of the Rings series? Oh, absolutely. Ruben, I think it's based off of your placement on the leaderboards. Alright, Hugh, thanks for jumping in, man. Chris K, just 2 times? Man, I watched Lord of the Rings way more times than I want to admit in a given year. After this stream, I'm going to be finishing off this regard. Oh, I got a little bit further in the past week. I was so damn busy this week. But I don't think you guys can really see this. Ooh, there it goes. I'm trying like an effect on his backpack to make it so it's like a kind of a cheap and easy OLS effect in the backpack there. Essentially what I'm doing is just using washes to build an OLS effect versus like layering actual layer paints and stuff like that, because I figure if I'm going to be painting a lot of these guys, I'd rather it be a quick process. Just something go boom, 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 and then move on to the next one, rather than me really trying to like somehow pull off an amazing OLS effect across like 15 models. Back, we're waiting for them to ready up, brother. Right now, they're currently picking their armies. They're setting everything up right now. Randommnix again is playing Skaven. HDS is going to be playing the Lizardmen. Good to see you too, dude. How are you? Didn't someone see that the Lord of the Rings trilogy like 300 times on Netflix? Was that Sparty? It wasn't me, alright? Fuck. This is best of 3. The finals are best of 5. You know, I actually... Watching it on Netflix is very convenient, but once you see the extended editions, it's like, you can't go back. You really cannot go back. Do I think Total War Age of Sigmar is likely considering how popular the Warhammer games have been? Viking Skog, I would say Total War 40k is more likely than Age of Sigmar. Favorite Lord of the Rings movie? I think for me it goes 1, 3, 2. It's hard because I love Two Towers so much, but I love like the... I bounce back and forth between like 1, 3, 2 and 2, 3, 1, or 2, 1, 3. Because like Return of the King I love a lot, and I love Two Towers, and I love Fellowship, but I really like the kind of elite Fellowship, smaller band of warriors destroying like large hordes of enemies that you get in Fellowship. And I think I've watched Fellowship more than I've watched any of the other ones, because I used to like fall asleep to it every night when it first came out. I mean, I bought all of them on VHS, then I bought the extended VHS like master book, then I bought all of them on DVD, then I bought all of them again on Blu-ray. Like I've owned like every format of them possible. I just need them on like an A-track now. Alright, so our armies are being set up right now. We're going to go ahead and jump back over to the stream. We're going to see them kind of get their stuff going right now. It looks like Random is popping his Skaven into place, and HDS looks like he's got a better hold on his Lizardmen. So let's go through them real quick. So going through the front line looks... Ooh! So 2 Temple Guard in the front, followed by the Legion of Chakwa. Legion of Chakwa have this really awesome ability which gives you a nice 44% missile resistance. So this will be pretty interesting to see because you see a lot of missile damage coming out from the Skaven across all their weapons teams, across all their artillery platforms, the gutter runners. They have so much access to that. So a nice, interesting move by putting them right in the center, right in that like, little doom blob with the Aslan Mage Priest of Life. Are these guys? No, these guys are just Temple Guards. So looking to see if they were the Star Chamber Guardians, which have Guardian. Then we also see a Bastillodon 2 Ark of Sotek, which are actually pretty good in this matchup. Their ability to do a lot of damage around them can actually really defeat the quote-unquote Skaven blob. So I actually really like that kind of off-meta quote-unquote pick. Now we get 4, or was it just 3? 1, 2, 3... Yeah, 3 total units of Red-Crested Skink, as well as 1 unit of Feral Cold, 2 Feral Cold ones, and I think a 3rd one, yeah. 3 total units of Feral Cold ones, followed by 2 more units of Chameleon. Now looking over here at Randommnix's army, it is disgusting. It's got that typical good layering of your Skaven play. Gonna absorb that frontline charge with a lot of Clan Rats. Ooh, with some of the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers. You guys just have a nice little fire damage attached to them. Clan Rats for shield, Clan Rats for shield. So Clan Rats across the front line, followed by some Clan Rats with spears reinforcing the sides. Looks like we also have a Council Guard, the Natty Bubo's Sharpshooters, which have Snipe and Stalk. Then Poison Wind Mortars, which do persistent damage over time. And then 3 units of Rat Ogres to shore up any kind of backline defense, getting some good AP in there as well. And then also an Assassin with Lord Skrulk. So this should be a very interesting play we have going on here. I like the use of the Assassin. I like the use of Lord Skrulk here. Plenty of really great little tricks you can do with him. You can see that Random is pushing these 2 out in front, trying to discover the any kind of Chameleon or Skink Skirmisher play. Trying to reveal those guys as fast as possible. There the sun rises. Charge now! Already getting some shots out of here. Whew! Warp Lightning Cannon just shooting down range, choosing the big toad on the toilet for its target practice. We also have some shots ripping into the Bastillodon Ark of Sotek from Natty Bubos. We can see that everything's kind of fallen back now behind the line of the The Clan Rats getting a little summon in here to try and kind of slow down the slow advance of the Lizardmen. And we can see that HDS is kind of wrapping around with... Oh no, with the Feral Cold one. Not one, it's not multiple, it looks like. Now, the cool thing here, what Randommnix did was he used his Clan Rats to slow this down, and he had the Poison Wind Mortars shoot into them. HDS responded using Shield of the Old Ones, getting some damage resistance mitigation on that and some good leadership from it. But this Doom stack, this little Death Star is just coming right in for the kill here, using Legion of Chakwa, using all that kind of insulation to kind of absorb a lot of that range damage. We can see things kind of popping in. Boom! Yeah, guys, this is the beta patch trying to mitigate some of the Chevron bugs that have been going on. Look at the Poison Wind Mortars ripping down range here into the Temple Guard. I love these things. They're such an awesome addition in the last DLC. You got the little Chameleon Skinks kind of pushing around to the back line. Banishment looking to kind of miss off, doing some damage over to the Council Guard. Council Guard giving that defensive passive and adding that nice 15% physical resistance. But still on Ark of Sotek is getting focused so hard. Even Liber Bubonic has drop on it. Ark of Sotek is now responding though with its drop as well. Getting some good damage around the radius here. Hitting pretty hard into those Council Guard. Poison Wind Mortars chucking down as well. Look at this. Earthblood down. Rod of Corruption down. Everything is just kind of stacked in the center portion over here. Even look at the big Toad Lord. He's moving right on through those Plague Monks. He doesn't even care. Looking in the back though, we can still see that the skirmishers haven't been able to jump into Natty Bubos, but look at this. The Stillodon jumping right into them, looking to smack things around with that big heavy club tail. Assassin though jumping down around over here, knocking apart this Saurus Scar Veteran. Rival Hide Talisman as well as Assassin's Trophy has been dropped on it to try and just completely shut this bad boy down. You also have Big Daddy Skulk in that engagement as well. Now, a nice counter charge out here from the Feral Cold Ones into the Poison Wind Mortars, trying to shut down that constant amount of damage coming out from them, and that's a really good play, I think. That's the big thing about those Poison Wind Mortars. If they get a shot off, it's going to keep doing that damage. So I like that ability to shut that down. HDS, though, even using the Slann Mage Priest of Light to help shut down Ikit Zap Zap here. I like that move as well. I'm doing any kind of disruption that he can. The balance power bar starting to shift in the favor of the Skaven, though. It looks like it's about 55-45. Assassin and Scar Veteran doing their little duel of the Fates over here. He's got that double-bladed lightsaber going for the two lightsabers of the Assassin. They're getting some reinforcement from the Red Crested Skink is going to help them out. A nice Shield of the Old Ones drop yet again to help out this little pocket over here that's trying to threaten both the Poison Wind Mortar and Ikit Zap Zap. But a lot of damage is coming out. Ark of Sotek dropping those bombs yet again. I think that Lord Skrulk just needs to be dealt with, but HDS doesn't have any big critical burst damage to get Skrulk out of this fight right now. His Assassin is marred, shutting down the Scar Veteran, and hopefully he can get the Rat Ogre and the Assassin over here onto Skrulk. I mean, yeah, sure, he does have the Bastillodon and the Slann Mage Priest, but it's not a lot of burst damage, and he needs to shut down the leadership elements of this as fast as he can. And Randommnix is bringing in that Assassin to help out, looking to karate chop that Slann Mage Priest. Ooh! I'm gonna get a little back up here. A nice banishment over there, doing some good damage into these Clan Rats, shutting them down a little bit. Actually going back into those Rat Ogres too, but they kind of squeezed out of it the last minute. Trying to get a good surveillance of the battlefield here for you guys. You can see the Poison Wind Mortars were shut down, but then we're able to push back out and get some good shots into these Chameleon Skinks. They're just about out of ammunition though, so they're kind of on their last leg. But here we go. Here's like that big fight. That Slann Mage Priest is getting shut down by both Council Guard and the Assassin. He's got Lord Skrulk getting hit by the Bastillodon. Bastillodon needs to get in there though and help out the mighty Slann Mage Priest. Blood Statuette of Spite dropping onto the, was it Statue? I think it was the Council Guard to try and get rid of them. That 15% physical resistance is hitting both of these targets. It's helping out both the Assassin and Lord Skrulk right now. Look at that guy just kind of scooting about. Ooh, a response of the little Shield of the Old Ones and a drop of the Ark of Sotek onto those Council Guard. Council Guard are so stocky. They're always able to win to like that, or hold out until those last like 3 or 4 units. It's because they're unbreakable. So you can see that they're down to just such a small amount of units, and they're just now starting to have a little bit of an issue here. The Assassin gets just fend it off at this last moment here. And we do have Lord Skrulk in a binding, or a little bit of a bind here. We have some Chameleon Skinks, Bastiladon, and Son Mage Priest getting a good heal off earlier to bring himself back up in health. But he's got some reinforcements coming in the form of Clan Rats. Damn, look at the game. Look at how this is going here. That balance of power bar shifted wildly back and forth a little bit. Natty Bubos is shooting from downrange, getting some good shots on to the Son Mage Priest of Life. And he's got some Rat Ogres as well. HDS has some Rat Ogres as well that can help really punch into the Bastiladon. That Arc of Sotek has been really online for a long time. I've loved how that thing has just been doing so much damage to Skrulk. It's been doing a lot of damage to the Ikit Zap Zap. It's been just plodding around the battlefield here. I love it. And remember too, the Bastiladon with Arc of Sotek, it has poisoned range damage. So it's able to shut down the amount of damage that it can be dealt, or things can deal to it. Wow, that's how poison works. It will help reduce weapon damage, speed, all sorts of characteristics. So it's got a lot of things going for it with the Hadab on its back, shooting things all game. Oh no, the Slime Mage Priest is just getting swarmed now by Rat Ogres. They're fiending for a good little bite of that disgusting toad stomach. Another shot down on the Arc of Sotek. Taking a look at the remainder of the battlefield, though, this is pretty much it for HDS's army here, as Randommnix pushes in the last little bits of destruction. Rat Ogres all compiling, though. See, the problem here is they're all on top of this Arc of Sotek, which is going to be doing damage to them the entire time. Oh no, Skrulk is so close. He's so close to losing, but also the Slime Mage Priest is just getting shot apart by Natty Bubos over here. And that is going to really, really do a lot of damage to them, because that leadership element is going to get shut down. A little bit of the Skaven are coming back. You can see that the balance of power bar is still not that radically against HDS, and it's because so many elements of the Skaven are beat to a pulp. And that Arc of Sotek really kind of held it together to the very end there. We're starting to really get to the end of the leadership. We're going to be pretty soon. We're going to get some army losses here. But look at this. I mean, like, HDS kind of really clung to that at the very last minute there. He used Natty Bubos, kind of brought them back online, the Poison Wind Mortar from over here to really get a lot of damage outrange. Natty Bubos into the Slime Mage Priest. I think that had HDS kept the pressure on Skrulk, it would have broken the back of Randommnix, unfortunately. There we go. Randommnix pushing up 2-0 against HDS. He'll be moving into the finals here. Let's go ahead and update that scoreboard real quick while I take a look at their builds. There we go. Sorry, I had to update that. HDS's army, very interesting, very different. He went with a large focus on some expensive units with those Temple Guard. And then he also went with some Feral Cult ones, but I think at the same time are a very strong unit in this matchup, but I think they weren't able to really get online. I feel like they were shut down a little too hard, too fast. At the same time, too, one of those units of Red Crested Skinks were just completely torn apart. You can see only 7 kills on these guys. The Scar Veteran, too, looking to kind of add to the little Death Star of the Chakwa, Slan Mage, Scar Veteran triplet, I guess you could say. And the Arc of Sotek, though, I think that these guys really carried the game for HDS. I think he was able to kind of push them through a lot of the big charges, keep a lot of pressure on the Randommnix. At the same time, too, Randommnix had a lot of really good answers here. Good Rat Ogres to countercharge any of the bigger, scarier monsters from the Lizardmen, as well as a lot of Skaven to wrap up those bigger, scarier monsters and slow them down a little bit. But I really, really enjoyed both of these builds here. Very fun, very interesting. Natty Bubos is always great to see. I have not seen them enough, so I'm excited to see them back on the mix here. Let's go ahead and bring up our bracket here. We'll go ahead and also move Randommnix into the finals. Let's go ahead. Press that button. Down. There we go. Now let me get our other competitors in. One sec. Ronin and Undertaker are up. We're going to be moving back to Galbaraz for our first map. And let me just get them in the game here real quick, guys. 1 second. White. We've got 214 of you bros checking in here today. Make sure you're liking the stream. Always helps out anytime you watch any content creator, any of their VODs, any of their streams. Is always a huge thing. So if you can, please like the stream or punch that like button. If it says 213, now 100. What the hell's going on? Just one sec, guys. Still trying to get all of our gents in on the fight. Okay. So, our gentlemen have now joined the fight. We have Ronin versus TheUndertaker here in our last semifinal for the day before we push into the finals against Randommnix. Now, this is, again, a best of 3 with the finals being a best of 5. Taking a look here, we're going to be on the map of Galbaraz. They're going to be doing their picks and bans right now, so guys, stay tuned here while we wait for that portion of the fight to get going. What do you think needs to change to make War Wagons a decent unit? War Wagons, Mortars, which ones? Oh no, he's here. He's here. Oh no. The knives are, the scissors are ready. Alright, so Grombrindal is taking the Dawi, and he's banning both High Elves and Dark Elves. A good choice against the Dawi, of course, especially the Dark Elves with their mass amount of ranged AP damage that they can do, especially with those Dark Riders Repeater crossbows. Make War Wagons better. Probably speed. I can't remember their stats off the top of my head. If they have Firewolves moving, which I think they do. But I think that the biggest thing is that, like, they're chariots, but not really chariots. They have like too much of like a weird in-between placement. And looks like Ronin is going to be the greenskin. So this will be a fun match. We're on Galbaraz with Grombrindal fighting as the dwarfs versus Ronin as the greenskin. So it should be a pretty good and interesting one. I think this is the first time we've seen greenskins in the Warpstone Cup. So that should be pretty fun. Guys, and a huge shout out to H for Havoc for creating the creative assets that we've been using here today. He created the Warpstone thing that you see floating in the background here. When you see that, he created that awesome big old chunk of Warpstone. He created the splash screen that says stream starting soon, as well as the bracket and the tokens. So a huge shout out here to H for Havoc. If you haven't, please go check out his channel. He does amazing work. He has a lot of Adobe Premiere skills that I hope to one day have. That is one hell of a beard. Thank you! Thank you! If I don't have hair on my head, I need to have a hell of a beard. Alright. The Jum Jum juice is now empty. Don't have that really popular cooking show? Yeah, I was also on a show on Netflix called The Chef Cooking Show. I made lava cake. I was really good in it. Pillar brown? It could be because I'm wearing a blue shirt. Dark Omen. It changes colors. Some nice baldness you got there. Thanks. Yeah, I got it at Ross. All right, Grombrindal has readied up. Ronin just needs to finish putting his army together, and then we'll be jumping into the first match of our second semifinal of the second qualifier of the second season of the second month of the year for the Warpstone Cup. Kelgar Ironfist said, you wouldn't expect his favorite action to be petty elves, judging by his beard, eh? Dwarfs are so low on my list of favorite factions, so it would go High Elves, Vampire Counts, Bretonnians, Dark Elves. Like, in order. Chaos. Warriors of Chaos is definitely up there, actually. Yeah, Dwarfs are, like, really nowhere near, like, not even, like, my top 5 factions. What factions need an update besides the Beastmen? Wood Elves, Norska, Greenskins, Beastmen. Those are the big 4, I think. I think Greenskins rework is the one that needs to come the soonest. Beard won't save you from the book. If I dye it red, it will. Big old orange beard. You know, that's the funny thing. People are always like, or like the big Turin does, what is it? Turin does a mullet and I do the Picard thing. The Friar Tuck. Why wouldn't you guys just have me dye my beard bright orange? I would do that way before I did a Friar Tuck. At least I can just wash the beard out. Tanks 608, I think that their campaign needs a rework. When I think we say faction rework, it's mainly referring to their campaign mechanics. I'd say Norska is the last on the list. If I had to order it, it'd be Greenskins, Wood Elves, Beastmen, Norska. Do I suspect that my kids are scheming against me? I don't have any kids. Alright, we're just loading into the match here, guys. Might have had a little bit of a disconnect. Let me check Discord real quick. Not yet. Not yet, indeed. My bastard children that I've never bastard. They're so scheming. I fully intend on eating my children. Like, if you think about it, right? Like, your children are supposed to technically be, like, genetically superior to you. They take all the DNA things that happen throughout your life and they make all the changes in the positive, and that you're genetically supposed to have a superior creature. I gotta have to fucking eat that thing. I can't just have it walking around strutting its shit saying it's better than me. Probably have my wife, like, have to cut me open or some shit. Exactly, gain the shit out of their power and full Zeus on them. Alright, their armies are now being set up again. We do have Grombrindal playing as the... I'm sorry, Grombrindal is the Undertaker. I should have probably mentioned that. So the Undertaker is playing the Dwarfs, and then Ronin will be playing the Greenskins. Oh, I don't change my DNA. That's for true. That's for sure. For true, man. Your DNA gets changed from birth. As I recall, right? As things transpire through your life, certain ailments that come your way and stuff like that, your DNA goes, okay, these are the things that we fucked up on, basically. If I'm making it in the most layman terms possible. Wicked, could you tune in, please? You're a fucking biologist. Alright. Here we go. We can take a look over here. Those kids in their place. So taking a look over at Ronin's army, we're going to see a massive green tide. A nice little Vanguard deployment, just a little bit of these Night Goblins in the very front. Now remember, these guys do have stocks. They are not visible right now. And a lot more Goblins as well with Nasty Stalkers. These guys do have AP, so they're going to be really good, cheap units against the dwarfs. On the far left and right flanks, we can see Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. They're going to bring some nice anti-infantry to the table, as well as AP and poison damage. Now, in the center, we're going to see some Black Orcs. So again, more AP. They're going to be heavier, tankier version of the big bad Orc boys, and reinforcing with some Goblins onto the Doomdiver catapults on both the flanks, as well as Grimgore Ironhide and an Orc Shaman leading the way. Now, as far as our Dwarf Army, Grombendal, or the Undertaker, I should say, brought a lot of Gyrocopters, already focusing down Big Daddy Grimgore here. Oh, they do. Thank you. All right. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. All right. So Doomdiver Catapult, though, shooting right into these Gyrocopters, especially the ones with Brimstone guns, trying to shut down the counterplay there into Grimgore. Grimgore already at 50% health and already trying to shoot now down into the Orc Shamans. Look at that. That is just all sorts of... disgusting. And we can also see a defensive perimeter taken here by the Undertaker. Trollhammer torpedoes being reinforced with some Ironbreakers in the front, some Longbeards in the back, Longbeards, and then more Longbeards. So this is a defensive geometry of the ages. One Doomdiver catapult has shut down, as well as the other one by both of these Gyrocopters. It's pretty spicy over here. Grimgore Ironhide himself is almost dead. These satchel charges from the Ironsbreakers just destroying these Night Goblins. Woo! Real quick. There we go. Man. That is some spicy play right there. Trollhammer torpedoes and a wall all just kicking off at once. A good charge in here from these Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, trying to get some max amount of damage onto the Longbeards. Now I think that's a better charge for them than the Ironbreakers, of course. You're taking a look here, the Longbeards have 100 armor versus the Ironbreakers have 125 and charge defense versus all. They're trying to mitigate that as best they can. But unfortunately, Grimgore Ironhide, even with a Scroll of Shielding, is in such bad shape right now. He is squaring off against Belgar Ironhammer himself, and Belgar is so tanky. Look at that. Look at that. The mighty Black Orc himself is not going to be staying around to kick anyone in the dick today. Even the Orc Shaman is shut down. This was such a just wild play of all these Gyrocopters. Unfortunately, no Goblin firing line, no Orc Archers to shut these things down. Orc Archers, I mean, they don't have a lot of AP, but they have such a huge volume of fire that it can really, really, really help out when it comes to any of this play from a lot of Gyrocopters. But even so, just shooting into Dwarf front line would have been more advantageous. Ugh. Poor classic Grimgore. More play in here, jumping in with these Night Goblins right into the Trollhammer torpedoes, trying to shut these guys down. Trollhammer torpedoes too have a lot of damage, a lot of AP, a lot of anti-large from those big bad boys. George, I thought it did. I'm sorry. I can't remember if it's like 2 or 3 tanks. Falcon maybe can help me out with that. How much AP is on a Orc R boy unit? More Trollhammer torpedoes just hammering into these Black Orcs, getting some fire support, danger close from the Gyrocopters, just bombing down into everything. We still have one big stack over here of Black Orcs here, just wading through the Runesmith and Norgrimling's Ironbreakers on the right side, but those Gyrocopters are just chopping stuff up. They're just about out of ammunition, but the majority of the Greenskins are set to rout as army losses kick in, and Ronin falls behind the Undertaker in our first match of the second semifinals. Damn. That was pretty wild. Oh man, Grombendal coming hard and heavy with those gyrocopter brimstone guns and 2 just normal gyrocopters, able to shut down pretty much everything. Oh, sorry, just check something real quick. Pretty much everything in Ronin's army. Grimgore was shut down. Both the Doomdiver catapults were shut down, and the Orc Shaman were shut down in the very first portions of the fight. So that was a real rough and tumble one for Ronin here. Hopefully you can come back here in the second round. I mean, as a whole though, I think his army, sans any kind of firing line, wasn't bad. I think had he taken maybe 2 of these Night Goblin Squig Hoppers out and gotten some fire support, he would have been in a much better situation. He would have been able to fight back at least against the gyrocopters and threaten them out, but they were just pretty much free to do whatever they wanted and bombed down into those Doomdiver catapults the entire time. Woo! So let's adjust this score here. Sorry again about that one, and we will change our close victory chance to absolute beatdown on multiplayer. Now we're going back to Rakdo Ridge. Jimbo J dropping a £3 donation here. Toss a coin to the Dawi, indeed.
Not your soul belongs to me.
Back to bracket. So taking a look here, we can see it looks like Ronin is going Wood Elves and banning both Bretonnia and High Elves. Good call here. Bretonnia and High Elf have a lot of access to very fast cavalry. They can really threaten the Wood Elves, especially the Wild Riders, especially any of the Way Watchers, Deepwood Scouts. So really good play there by Ronin. Ronin is going to be, Grombendal, or Undertaker in this case, is going to be going with the Skaven instead. Woo! I'm going to go ahead and refresh this real quick, guys. What is going on? All right, there we go. There we go. Yep, fix that. All right, we got 240 people tuning in here today. Make sure you're slapping that like button, guys. Hopefully you're enjoying the second qualifier of our Warpstone Cup second season here. We've got 2 more qualifiers after this. They'll be held next week on Saturday and the week after that on the following Saturday. So the next 2 Saturdays coming up, you will see the Warpstone Cup at the same timeline. 8 a.m. is when we start the check-in. 9 a.m. is when the actual tournament itself begins, and then we stream the semifinals and the finals around 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Barty von Baldstein or Italian Balticus, either one works. I mean, I'll take either. All right, both of our players are ready. We're going to be jumping into our second match here of our second semifinals before pushing into our finals. Now, if the Undertaker wins this one, he will be playing against Randommnix in the finals, and that is a best of 5. If Ronin can take a win, though, off of the Undertaker, he will stop his 2-0 rampage through the bracket this entire day. A rubber duck of war. I always love those videos of like people squeezing like 50 rubber ducks at once to make that like like just the absolute death sound. Alright, so we're loading into our match here. Waiting for stuff to kind of come on through. Attack on my people. What was conduct was fulfilled. A Terragoose essentially has fizzy rubber ducks in his mouth. Did you not read the article that Creative Assembly posted where they were saying the voices of Total War, and they were talking about the Terrorgeist and how it's basically they put a microphone at the bottom of like a whole box of rubber chickens, and James Given from Creative Assembly just jumped into the box. So that horrible shrieking noise is all those rubber chickens going off at once. Cyberbullying the announcer. Nah, no one's cyberbullying. Bullying. Alright, we've now loaded in. The armies are being set up, and it is a wild one from Ronin. Woo-wee! What a way to do audio engineering. Yeah, it's like a Foley artist, you know, when they film sex scenes, they just take pickles and put them into mayonnaise. Please tell me you guys have seen that YouTube video. Alright, waiting for army to get a little more set up here before we dive in, and it's gonna be a pretty interesting one. So let's take a look at the Undertaker first, since he's up 1-0 against Ronin. Let's jump over here into the actual stream itself. So looking at this, a nice big layered approach with the Skaven, as to be expected, like we saw earlier. A front line of Skaven slaves, followed by a reinforcing line of Storm Vermin with swords and shields. Now, I like Grombendahl's play here, going with Storm Vermin with swords and shields, because they've got a good amount of armor. They do have missile defense against a lot of the play you're going to get from Wood Elves going heavy into the range portion of their army. You can also do Clan Rats as well, just doing a lot of Clan Rats. That's a big thing with against Wood Elves. If you give them less high-value targets to shoot at, you just can swarm all around them. And that's definitely a Skaven play, right? But we see some Clan Rats in the back with shields as well. The Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers, as well as the Council Guard, giving some Unbreakable and Guardian passive. 2 units of Poison Wind Mortars, Natty Buboes, as well as Lord Skrulk, a unit of Rat Ogres. And that is going to round off our army by the mighty Undertaker. Now, looking over here, pull the players to do it. We have quite the advanced force from Ronin. A lot of Dryads. And Dryads are actually pretty interesting in this engagement. They're immune to psychology, they cause fear, they have physical resistance, and they're Vanguard deployments, so they can really get up close and personal very fast. So a mass Vanguard here of Dryads, Wild Hunter play. We've got double Way Watcher. We also see a Branch Wraith as well as Orion, and then a back line of Glade Guard, ready to get a ton of range damage out. But you can see here that Undertaker is not panicking. He's got a lot of things that can really insulate into this formation here. A lot of Poison Wind Mortars that can shoot down. Way Watcher shooting right, though, into Lord Skrulk, getting a good shot into him, but not really getting 100% damage. Another one bouncing off of him as well, not doing the max amount of damage that it could possibly do. Natty Buboes shooting into Orion, which is a large target, so it's going to be easier to hit Orion when he kind of moves through these smaller infantry targets. Now you can see the Poison Wind Mortars are just chucking down range, doing tons of damage, even to the Skaven slaves as well, but who cares about that? That's what they're there for. Dryads getting a lot of damage into them as well from those Poison Wind Mortars. Wild Riders getting counter-shot by or counter-played by the Rat Ogres, which are then getting counter-shot by the Glade Guard as well, and a summon up from Skrulk of some Plague Monks. It is going wild over here. Ronin has to win this one to stay into the fight. So he's done some pretty down and dirty deeds, right? He's moving in hard and fast with the Vanguard play. He's got this left flank going very well for him across all of his, I almost said Glade Guard, all of his Wild Riders, all of his Dryads, and you can see Mel Gibson is trying to just flee out from this fight over here. Branch Wraith jumping on to Lord Skrulk, as well as some supporting elements from the Dryads. The Glade Guard over on this side of the fight, though, getting some nice damage out over to these Rat Ogres, helping to try and shut them down as fast as they can. Wild Riders have a nice, good charge, though, ready for Skrulk as they kind of push back and move over to Natty Buboes, looking to shut down that range play from them as they are revealed on the battle map. And the Poison Wind Mortars are also shooting down range, getting that persistent damage. summon up of those Plague Monks running right here in with those Clan Rats, looking to tie up the Branch Wraith. Remember, this is the casting portion of Ronin's army, and it's getting shut down so quick. Earthblood and Malkoth Mystifying Miasma is being pulled out of the army forcibly now by that 2-summon Spit Roast. More Poison Wind Mortars chucking down range here, shooting right into these Glade Guard, melting them. Look at that damage, just blowing up all up in their faces. Glade Guard, though, getting closer now to help push in more damage over here. Orion's pretty low, caught up with some Storm Runes with Sword and Shield, but a lot of supporting elements here with his Dryads, and they're just now kind of chopping this up. Wild Riders kind of getting stalled over here as they get bogged down by the Clan Rats as well, and Lord Skrulk is chasing down that Branch Wraith. Oof! Vanguard trying to focus into them. The Way Watchers, I think that's probably been a bit of an Achilles heel for and every single one of those Mortar Blasts is doing so much damage to those Glade Guard. The Way Watchers haven't been able to really output a lot of damage and get their worth right now in this fight, in my opinion so far. I haven't seen them doing a ton of damage to the high value targets that they can be doing damage to. But we shall see as this fight plays on. There's still plenty of Glade Guard left. There's still plenty of Dryads kind of mucking about. Orion is very low in health though, so he does kind of have to get out of these bigger engagements and help make for a little bit more advantageous ones. Yeah, Rubber Duck of War just called it. In the very beginning of the game, those Arrows of Kurnos, they just did not connect hard enough on Lord Skrulk, and it has not paid out well for the Way Watchers. Or Way Stalkers, sorry. Glade Guard now, though, shooting into the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers, trying to knock these guys out as best they can. The other side of this flank, though, getting charged in by the Storm Vermin that are wrapping up around these Dryads. Look at this. Orion getting focused down by these Clan Rats. Just getting poked ceaselessly. Oh, no! Oh, man. Right through those Clan Rats. Boom, bouncing off here off of Lord Skrulk. Not quite connecting 100%, so I was taking a look at the Discord real quick. More of these Poison Wind Mortars. Take a look at this just gigantic Vermintide skittering up the hill here.
Yes, yes. More Wood Elves.
Glade Guard on their last leg. More Poison Wind Mortars just jumping down to them. Laggy lag. Go ahead and refresh the stream. It's not looking like it's lagging on my end. Look, I'm getting 100%, no drop frames, 60 frames a second. Everything's looking Gucci. Waystalker just trying to shoot now down using their generic shots into Lord Skrulk. Branch Wraith is on its last leg as well. It's getting chased off by Skrulk, and it really is a situation here where Ronin is pretty much against the wall. The Poison Wind Mortars have just been shutting down the Glade Guard the entire time. Like, they haven't been able to come online heavy enough and do enough damage. They were able to shut down that unit of Rat Ogres, which was good, but the Wild Riders were not able to really get any good solid charges in. They were able to knock out Natty Buboes though, which again was good, but both these units of Poison Wind Mortars have been pretty much firing the entire fight. How many kills do they have? 30 on this unit, 43 on this unit. Damn, man. Orion's over here on his last leg as well. How much health left? 466. He does have his mantle, which is going to help out in his regeneration right now. But he is getting swarmed by Clan Rats and Plague Monks. If he can get in grips with Lord Skrulk, though. Oh, a hefty hit from Mel Gibson as he just goes and headbutts him right in the face. Rod of Corruption down. They're both down to the wire. 394 health to 32 health. Oh, Skrulk dies before Orion does, as he is down as well, the hooved one. And there it is, a win for Undertaker. That was a pretty nice little last duel of the fates there. All right. So moving on to our post-battle report here, we can take a look. Ronin did have a very unique army here, and I believe there might have been a little bit of an issue with the rules, but I'm going to go ahead and just let that slide. Especially because Ronin lost. I'm not going to, hey, replay. So taking a look here, I think that the Waystalker just they couldn't get off the ground. Their Arrows of Kronos did not hit Scroll like they wanted to. Both really whiffed hard in the beginning, and then when they tried again later, they just whiffed yet again. So they were not able to do the damage that they were, and they didn't return their value at all. I think that wasn't so much a issue for Ronin as a pick. It was just an issue with a game mechanic not really going 100% for him. The Wild Riders did what they were supposed to do, though. They were able to get into the back line, shut down Natty Boo Bows, threaten a lot of the range elements of the fight, but it still was not enough. There was such a high amount of units, like I was saying earlier. The big thing with against high elves, or I'm sorry, wood elves, you take a lot of cheap infantry with shields that give too many options for the wood elves to succinctly shoot at, so they can't just focus down things one at a time. And this is exactly what Undertaker did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units with shields that were just kind of swarming all over the battlefield, able to shut down all 5 of these units of Dryads, and then use a lot of support to help shut down the Glade Guard with the Poison Wind. So, a great little fight here to finish off our semifinals. We're going to go ahead and switch back to the bracket real quick. Let's go ahead and configure the bracket as well. Like we got Undertaker moving into next spot. There we go. And in the meantime, while we're getting our bros into here, yeah, guys, these rule breaks do happen. It's not too big of a deal, especially since these guys are all friends for the most part, and it clearly didn't break the game one way or another. So no big deal, no harm, no foul. Let me get Random in here for our final. Find him on the list. You know what, Steam, your overlay is shit. Last year's court is happening soon. I fell asleep again reading the lore of it. I should just read it like fucking in a chair instead of like in bed with the lights off, with Star Trek on a heating pad, with my blanket up to my eyes. Like the worst idea. I'm working on a project this week with Indie Pride. We're going to be working on our Total War 40k series again, so you'll see that be coming out as well. It's going to be a final. It'll definitely be a hectic final match. All right, we got Random now joining in. We're going to be jumping to our first match for the best of 5 in the finals. That is going to be Altdorf Outskirts. Going to be our starting match here. What's my favorite guard regiment? It's kind of a toss-up between the Death Corps of Krieg and God, what's the other guys? Can't think of their name right now. My brain blinked out. You know, I'll go Death Corps. I'll say Death Corps. Just Death Corps Krieg. Go with that. Let me fix the... That's not a big deal, Ronin. Don't even worry about it, man. I mean, you're just uninvited to every single tournament in the future, and you're blacklisted. But no, dude, it's not a problem at all. You're not blacklisted. Don't worry about it. Okay. Everything here goes. All right, guys. So we're now in the final. It is a best of 5. The picks and bans are happening. So let's take a look. Oh God. I don't understand the language. All I can read is Dobja. That's the only thing I know. The rest is in Polish, quite literally. Alright, so Randommnix has gone with the Tomb Kings. And he banned Vampire Counts, the Vampire Coast, I think. And it looks like Undertaker chose the Skaven. And this is me just looking at the letters and seeing the acronyms and understanding what those are, rather than me trying to understand Polish, which I think there's a YouTube video out there somewhere about like who's a better Space Marine, Master Chief or like a Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine, And it's like Master Chief is like the reason they're called Spartans is because of like the way that they're like indoctrinated, right? It's just like the Spartans, like they're brought from youth all the way through like training to become a Spartan. But I would argue that although Master Chief has like a cool field generator and stuff like that, I don't know that if they would beat a Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine, which are way bigger, stronger, and faster, and just seems like a kick an ass of a Spartan. And so every universe ever at the same time. I think the question would be is like, does a power sword cut through Master Chief's personal shield? Cats beat everything. And the second that the Space Marine and Master Chief duel, boom. Fucking cat shows up and scratches the goddamn eyes out. Chris, I think we're just talking about a single Space Marine versus Master Chief. Or if we want to be more generic, a Spartan versus a Space Marine versus, like, you could say like a Chapter Master versus Master Chief. But Master Chief has Microsoft money. Ooh, pretty good point. Does the Flood beat the Tyranids? No, because I'd say the Tyranids would consume the Flood. Will LaForce says Master Chief has plot armor. Never underestimate plot armor. It's kind of funny. It's like you... that used to be a thing for Warhammer Fantasy. It's like, oh, how many High Elves are left? And the response used to be exactly as many as the plot dictates are needed. The Flood, though, doesn't... like, so Tyranids completely consume biological everything, right? To further their race. The Flood just, like, consumes it in a different way. It, like, converts it. Versus, like, the Tyranids will completely strip a planet to its bare, like, bedrock. Plot armor equals Ultramarines would like to teach you plot armor. Master Chief versus Gilliman. Or Marnius Calgar for that example. Alright, so we're loading into Altdorf Outskirts. This is the finals now. Our best of 5. Randommnix versus TheUndertaker. Both have 2-0'd every opponent up to this point. So it's going to be a match of, is it going to come down to a glorious Game 4? Are we going to see a 3-0? So I'm really curious to see how this one plays out. This should be a pretty vicious cockfight to close out our second qualifier of Season 2. They're just loading into the map here. One thing to consider too when it comes to these tournaments, if you do want to get involved in the tournaments, guys, please go ahead and check out Turin's weekly tournament Discord. You can join either the ECL, the Eternal Challenger League that Turin hosts on his channel, or the WCCL, this one that I host on my channel. And this is a great way if you want to get involved in the Ever Chosen Invitational. This is a method that we can use to pretty much vet your sportsmanship, your personality, because remember, those are hosted by Creative Assembly, and we can only bring people into that they trust in, or they trust through us. So you have to pretty much show us that you're a trustworthy individual, that we can give you early access to stuff so you can play things and compete in that Ever Chosen Invitational. Alright, we have loaded into the match. We're going to wait till these armies get a little more set up before we jump into them. That way we don't see those kind of warping around the battlefield the entire time. We will have another Warpstone Cup, qualifier number 3, next Saturday, starting at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Be on the lookout, too, for Turin's Eternal Challenger League. If you're looking to get more competitive play, he will be streaming throughout the week and or Sunday that week. I think, actually, Turin, if you're still here, are you doing your Faction Wars next Sunday? Also, Loremaster of Sotek and I put up a podcast, and he is also reviving his tabletop tournament that he's been hosting, which uses kind of a really cool synthesis of tabletop rules and Total War rules. So definitely check that out if you want to see that on his channel as well. Let's jump on over to our stream here. We're going to take a look at Randommnix. Remember, he is playing the Tomb Kings versus the Undertaker on the Lizardmen. So a big front line again. Same thing that we saw earlier with Randommnix. He's got a front line of just some infantry with a lot of constructs, 4 units of Shopji this time, with two princes, 2 tomb princes, and Setra the Imperishable, followed by 4 units of carrion. So a very interesting build here that I really like. He's got the Kepler Guard to add a little high AP anti-infantry punching value. And then over here at Undertaker's army, a lot of Temple Guard. 1, 2, 3 units of Temple Guard to really add a lot of punch when it comes to that AP anti-large from these guys. They're really defensive. They can wade through a lot of damage here. You see 2 units of Saurus Warriors, followed by a Razordon, a Salamander hunting pack in the Umbral Tide, the Regiments of Renown version that have stock, and also cohort of Sotek, which has the Never Back Down movie fighting ability where they don't die while it's popped. We have the Skink Priest of Heavens, which is probably going to have a blast. Yeah, it's got a wind blast. And we also have, for the leadership element, it's going to be Gar on a cold one. So this should be very interesting here. Gar on a cold one here versus on a Carnosaur helps to really kind of counter Usef from being able to anti-large AP it down, but we do not see the Grand Usef over here. A little play here from the Paco Pox cohort getting really focused down in the early portion of the game. Looks like Undertaker was looking to kind of keep them hidden, but Randommnix was able to jump on them and swarm them with Carrion. A fitting play, as well as Tomb Princes. Tomb Princes have anti-large and AP, so they can just kind of push these guys out of the fight quickly. These guys, of course, do have AP and anti-large as well. Setra the Imperishable in there, just chopping things about all over the place. There was like a really funny Legend of Total War had like a thumbnail that had what's her name? Rapunzel de Lyonesse and Setra on it, and I can't remember what it was, but it was really funny. It was like, I don't serve, I sail. Oh man, it was good. All right, so our armies are now starting to move towards each other. We've dealt with any kind of skirmisher elements now, and we're pushing towards one each other slowly but surely. The Lizardmen are starting to kind of line up here. We did have them over in this portion of the map, and now they've kind of pushed around over to here, and they're getting their lineup going across the board here. Now, with these Razordons, you're going to see a lot of AP damage come out, and with the Umbral Tide, there's going to be a lot of fire damage. And these things can really saturate any of the Tomb Kings with fire damage. So the big thing here, for keep forgetting that it's Randommnix, I keep wanting to say HDS for some reason. For HDS is going to be putting a lot of pressure onto these things, make sure that they can't continuously fire into a lot of the constructs. But adversely, what's nice for Random is that he has a lot of Ushabti, which are not gigantic constructs like your Tomb Scorpions, Necro Sphinx, War Sphinx, stuff like that. So a really interesting play there. I'll drive you to the... Okay, so Ben just looked it up for me. The Legend of Total War thumbnail was "I'll drive you to the sea" from Rapunzel, followed by "Setra does not surf." All right, getting a little wheeling around here. Now they're just kind of getting in position with one another. They're going to start moving towards. Now the rules do dictate, as long as these armies are moving towards one another with hostile intent, like the intent to engage, it is okay. These guys are clearly not kiting one another. They're just trying to get the best possible engagement going here. The Carrion are swooping around over here on this side. You've got some Carrion over here ready to kind of swoop down over here. I like this little play by Random, trying to get a little bit of a noose in with those Carrion, and then pushing his army up to kind of meet before... Oh, a Wind Blast is going to just miss this unit of Skeleton Spearmen. Nice little play there by Random to kind of get things moving. I don't think he landed 100%, but did kind of take the wind out of the sails, no pun intended, for Undertaker. A nice good shot getting to the Ushabti and the King Nekef's Scorpion Legion, but boom, look at that, jumping right into those Temple Guard there. They do have a charge defense against that, so this is a unit that was not... the Temple Guard's going to take more damage, obviously, but these guys do have that charge defense, so we'll shut that down a little bit. Carrion's swooping down here onto the Razordon hunting pack. Now, I believe that they will outclass this engagement, but it's going to prevent the amount of damage jumping out on them. The cohort of Sotek helping out the Umbral Tie as it shuts down this portion of Carrion over here. And they're just shooting bombs down low over here, knocking out this unit of Ushabti very quickly. A lot of good damage into them. The center line is really holding well against all of these Ushabti, but it's really going to be a test to see how long this all can last here. Look at that. Carrion getting swarmed here. The Umbral Tide is getting delayed from their firing to kind of pull off for a little bit. And look at this. Tomb Prince and Cetra were able to push into the Razordon hunting pack, which just fled right away from this. Same thing with Krokgar. Jumped right out of this engagement. And now you can see the right flank over here is starting to go very well for... I was going to say the Lizardman, but then I realized I saw what's going on here. The two Ushabti are going down fast. They still have these 2 units of Temple Guard, which are going to make short work of these Skeleton Spearmen. It's going to be a matter of shutting down these Kepler Guard as quick as possible. And then this left bracket, ooh, that's a nice little wind blast there, knocking into the King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion. This unit of Temple Guard are pretty well surrounded, and we have lost this unit of Saurus Warriors. But take a look over here. The cohort of Sotek trying to bog down the Tomb Prince and Cetra the Imperishable. As well as jump into this unit of the Ushabti as the Umbral Tide breaks away from this engagement to get a nice inflate back onto the force. You can see over here too, Carrion jumping around, getting knocked apart by the Razordons and the Krokgar, shooting into this unit of Ushabti. I didn't know they had such a long range on them. Damn. You can hear those skeletons just screaming like in that opening cinematic of Wrath of the Lich King. Oh, Hand of the Gods ripping into Cetra the Imperishable, down to 50% health right now. So you can really see Usef's Incantation Desiccation coming down right now to help out as much as they can to mitigate a lot of the melee damage coming out from the cohort of Sotek into Big Bad Daddy Cetra over here. But taking a look to the Star Chamber Guardians are really up against the wall here with the Kepler Guard. They're getting pushed now by the Cetra the Imperishable and the Tomb Princes, trying to do as much damage as they can. The Umbral Tide getting knocked apart by the Tomb Princes over here too, while they struggle to get a firing lane open once more. Razordons getting a nice little position in the back here to start shooting down range as well. Woo! The Razordons are not something you see too often. They've kind of come up and down in the meta, especially since their initial placement, and they've never really had a real awesome placement, in my opinion. I think there's just been things that have really shined better in the Lizardman roster, and I really like Undertaker's... Oof, another little wind blast in the back there, knocking into the Kepler Guard just a little bbit as it finishes off this unit of the Star Chamber Guardians. Balance power bar still at 50-50 right now, though. Uh-oh. Those King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion, they do have poison, which is going to make these guys fleeing a little bit harder to do, but there's not many mobile elements left of the Tomb King's armor to really chase them down. Krokgar exploding out in this situation, focusing heavy onto the onto the Cetra the Imperishable. He's got Blessed Blade of Petra down as well. He's just trying to get as much damage into Cetra. If they can shut down Cetra, that's going to shut down all the casting for the Tomb Kings right now. So Random needs to kind of keep Cetra well guarded from those Tomb Princes. The Ushabti were focused down mainly from the Razordons and all the Temple Guard. A lot of AP and anti-large coming out from those guys. Also a lot of shots in from the Umbral Tide, which is all the way back here chasing off those Salamanders, which is a good call. They're really beat up as it is. Krokgar over here going toe-to-toe with the Tomb Prince. He does have a Usef Incantation Desiccation yet again. I really like that Random's been using... Oh, a good Wind Blast yet again on the King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion. I like that Random's been using the Desiccation as much as he can to keep the melee attack down of a lot of the AP anti-large units that would otherwise focus down a lot of... Ooh! Hand of the Gods ripping into Cetra. Just missing, but getting 1 or 2 shots on him. The Skink Priest of Heavens getting shut down too now from Cetra the Imperishable and wrapped up. But you do have the Star Chamber Guardians, which have come back online, and they're going to provide that Guardian to the Skink Priest, while they can hopefully get some AP anti-large damage into Cetra at 554 health. Woo! Over here, though, the Razordon Hunting Pack facing a little 2v or a little 3v2 over here with the Tomb Prince and the Carrion. And look at this, man. Krokgar is really just not having a great time against the Tomb Princes. Oh, Cetra has been downed by the... Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was the Skink Priest of Heavens. Sorry. I thought that was the little warning for Cetra blowing up, but it was actually for the Ushabti being summoned. Sorry about that, guys. Jump to conclusions there. And Krokar is down as well. And we can see that a win is coming for Random. That was a real good back and forth there. I really liked how interesting both of those armies were. I would not have expected so much Carrion to be played out in this situation. I think the Carrion were originally intended to kind of focus down any kind of chameleon skinks or anything like that. But I really liked the use of the Carrion trying to focus down and jump into the Umbral Tide and the Razordon hunting pack as much as they could. But at the same time, both of those units getting a lot of really good kills onto the Ushabti. Ushabti were able to put a lot of threat into the Temple Guard, and the Temple Guard were able to return that threat back into the Ushabti. But I think in the long run, it was Randommnix's use of the Tomb Prince and Cetra focusing things down as best they could, especially Praag in the end there, hunting down the Umbral Tide in the very kind of last quarter of the fight, and putting a lot of threat into the Razordons, which had to recall from the main fight in the very beginning of the fight. I like that with Randommnix's play with those that triplet there, that threesome of damage. So let's get a little move up on the scoreboard here for Randommnix. We'll jump back over to the bracket in the meantime while they choose new armies. So we're going to be moving on over to Karak Azgal here. Azgal. There we go. All right, remember this is a best of 5. So Randommnix is up 1-0 now against the Undertaker, taking off the first win of the day against Undertaker, or Grombrandal if you see him on the screen. Undertaker again has gone 2-0 this entire day, and the same thing with Random. So it's been pretty interesting to see this kind of go back and forth now. They're doing their picks and bans. It looks like Grombrandal has chosen the Vampire Coast. And he's banned the Dawi and the Emperor. The Empire. And it looks like Randommnix is going to be going as Bretonia. He's up 1-0. He's feeling a little confident. He's going to be going with Bretonia. Going to be using a lot of cav probably to really put a lot of pressure on to the Vampire Coast. But the big thing with Vampire Coast is they have access to a lot of really cheap pole arms. You can have a ton of zombie deckhands with pole arms. You can have your Death Guard with pole arms. A lot of really good access. In addition, though, Bretonia has a lot of access to cheap fire arrows and their peasant archers. Peasant archers are some of the best archers in the game, in my opinion. They just have so much value, so cheap, and they have a great range. Nolan, I'm glad to hear that, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it, brother. You guys have ceaselessly been using puns in the chat, and I have not touched one of them. I have seen them, and I've been like, I refuse. No, this is a best of 5, Calgar. Everyone was shitting on the Carrions, and the Carrions, well, they didn't carry the day, but they did some stuff. You know, I don't really know. I guess if you're taking a look at like what the best range unit is, you'd have to take a look at, I guess, okay, its cost, its unit count, its range, and its overall damage that can output. You know, it's like, and if you're talking about range unit, are we talking about ranged infantry, or are we also including ranged skirmisher cav? So I think like ranged skirmish cav, best one might be Horsemasters, but again, it's situational, right? I think if you take a look at Horsemasters compared to Dark Riders with repeater crossbows, Dark Riders repeater crossbows, maybe they outclass the Horsemasters because they have a wider application versus say like a Dark Riders or Horsemasters can shut down Dark Riders. So I think it really is matchup dependent and application dependent. And again, unit dependent. Are you talking about infantry versus skirmish versus war machine even? Ammo count is a good point, too. My favorite range unit. Good to see you, Queek. It's been a long time, man. How have you been? Alright, both gentlemen already. Grombrindal, or I mean Undertaker, sorry, is going to be playing the Vampire Coast versus Randommnix's Bretonnia. Dan, if you've been watching a lot of multiplayer comps, make sure you're watching turns as well. Dov Plays also does a ton of them. Heir of Carthage, I think he still does. He still does multiplayer battles, right? Yeah, I'm glad you're here, man. We're definitely doing more streams on Tuesday and Thursday as well. We'll be continuing our streams of Heinrich Kemmler. He's been an awesome lord to play. Right now we're loading into our map here, guys. This is round 2 of our finals, a best of 5. Randommnix is up 1-0 against Undertaker. Undertaker's going to be playing Vampire Coast versus Randommnix on Bretonnia. We're on the map Karak, Azgal. Yeah, we stream every Tuesday and Thursday, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, around 12 or 1 Pacific Standard Time. So 6 p.m. GMT. Will LaForce, welcome aboard, brother. All right. We've now loaded in, just waiting for our armies to get a little more set up here before we jump into their army compositions again. We want to make sure that both of our forces, or both of our... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's going to be pretty fun to show you guys. We want to make sure both are set up here before we jump in. Yeah, scared to leap away, my bro. So since we'll be covering... I should get Martins to play with Total War Warhammer. We were actually talking about me playing Overwatch with him. Martins plays a lot of Overwatch. Yeah, he's playing Destiny 2 a lot right now. But he's fucking traveling all over the place. Arnold's is coming up in March, so he'll be there. He just competed in Arnold's over in Venice Beach. He's out in Iceland right now. He's been doing... This is the second year he's gone out to Iceland and just trained with Thor at Thor's house and in Thor's training facility for like... or half Thor, for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Romark was just sending me like a snap the other day of him like just working from fucking half Thor's house or couch. Martins Lisis, the world's strongest man, and Hathor Bjornsson, also world's strongest man. I train at the same gym as Martins. I've known Martins for 3 or 4 years. Yeah, the mountain. The mountain's easier, I guess you could say. The mountain that walks. Alright, so we're going to take a look here at Randommnix's army since he's up right now and he's all pretty much configured. So, we can see some fun action. The Fey Enchantress, Gotrek, and Felix, as well as a Grail Relic, right in this little Doom pocket with a Peasant mob. I am stoked to see how this goes. Also, we get the... where are you? Fey Enchantress has got... Earthblood and Awakening Wood. That's the first one. Then as far as the rest of the army, a lot of Battle Pilgrims across the way. We're going to see 3 units of Peasant Bowmen. 4 units of Peasant Bowmen. No, does that say Pox? Nope. Just standard Peasant Bowmen. As well as some Spears on the far flanks. The unit of Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis, as well as Knights Errant on the far side. But we're going to be seeing Luther Harkin kind of jump into this fight early, looking to do some damage quickly to the Fey Enchantress, shoot her with his pistol, help prevent her from using her abilities, because that pistol does increase that recharge rate. Look at that, Peasants just jumping on this already. A nice vomit right down onto Felix, Power Siphon dropping as well. Woo, Slon Gold, everything's going off already. We can already see, too, the deck droppers are getting some shots in as well. Already getting some return fire from the Peasant Bowmen. Dude, look at this. Felix is not having a great time. Earthblood onto him. Hornswaggle, he's slowed down. His melee defense has dropped. His armor. Oh my god. This is ridiculous. This whole horde of peasants and battle pilgrims moving down the line to the massive horde of zombie pirates over here. So Undertaker has taken a lot of zombie pirate deckhand mobs. He's got some handguns in the midline, supported by some bombers in the left and right flank, a carronade of two carronades in the left and right, supporting a bunch of zombie pirates with pole arms. And I think we just saw Felix get killed a second ago here, guys. Oh man, now Faye Enchantress is taking cannonballs to the face. Oh no! Look at Felix, or Gotrek just getting focused down here. Taunt is slowing him down. Oh man, this is just a shit show of destruction. The Knights of the Realm, though, are wheeling around the flanks, trying to get a good charge in. Gotrek just going ham. The Slayer King himself. The Fae Enchantress is getting charged now by Luthor Harkin, dropping right down onto the face of the Fae. He's just getting a good little charge in and backing out immediately. Earthblood dropping onto the Fae Enchantress here. Bombers just ripping through these battle pilgrims, though. And a misclick, I think, of the Grail of Ages. Stop, he's dead, he's fucking dead. More bombers dropping in onto the zombie pirate deckhand mobs and the battle pilgrims over on this right flank. Left flank getting charged in here, though, by a mass of these knights, shutting down this bomber unit real quick. But like I was saying, remember, there are these zombie pirate deckhand mobs that can do a lot of damage quickly. These other knights errant, and they do have a low leadership, even though they do have frenzy. The peasant bowmen, though, not able to really do a lot of threatening damage to Luthor Harkin right now. They need to really get a lot of damage in. They've been shutting down these deck droppers, but you can see this big pocket of just leadership and destruction is really right here, and they need to really get a lot of damage onto Luthor, whose deck droppers are just doing so much damage over there. We've been seeing a lot of really interesting hard counterplay from Randommnix and from Undertaker this entire game. Like, so right now, obviously, Undertaker's done. Oh, Fae Enchantress is down! Just shut down by the deck dropper and a charge in from Luthor Harkin. Gotrek is over here as well as the Grail Relic to add some leadership to this army, but man, the Undertaker has had a lot of really amazing, strong, fast, hard punching counterplay, with a lot of just really in-your-face builds that have really done just some amazing work very quick. Luthor Harkin, man, with his Slan Gold, with his pistol, he can do so much damage to casters, especially people that rely on their abilities. Felix, Gotrek, Fae Enchantress. What makes them so strong are a lot of those ability that he can use, that they can use. Sorry. Peasant Bowmen, though, are about 50% ammunition. The vampires help to really kind of push off a lot of the cav on the right flank, back flank of cav over there and over here. Unfortunately, the cavalry has not really been able to come around and do heavy damage to the vampire coats. The peasant bowmen now have a good target in Luthor Harkin. The deck droppers have, for the most part, been completely defeated, and hopefully the remaining portions of the cavalry can really threaten into the carronade into any time Luthor Harkin drops. But there are so many vampire coast units left on the battlefield, and not enough Bretonnians, I think. Oh man, that was such a hard counterpunch right in that initial portion of the game here. The zombie pirates with bombs are going to be doing some serious damage here to these stacked up peasant bowmen against random. Undertaker, though, he's out for blood, right? He's down 1-0 against random. He lost that fight. He's looking to kind of bring the scales back in his favor. Luthor Harkin doing some cycle charging into the Grail Relic, looking to try and just crack that thing open. And a nice little drop down here of a taunt on these Knights Errant to help get them out of the fight as fast as possible. If really what Bretonnia needs to do is get a lot of damage onto the big scary things here, like Luthor Harkin, because if Harkin can drop down and get focused in by these Knights of the Realm, there'll be a lot of really good damage on him. But the problem is that there are still some polearms on the battlefield, there's still some bombers that can just really rip apart these guys, and the peasant archers are starting to flee right now, and there it is. I think we have army losses kicking in pretty soon here for Bretonnia. I think, unfortunately for Random, of course, yeah, the leadership counterplay in the beginning was very harsh. But I think that because it was such a high amount of stress, his cavalry couldn't get a lot of really good play into the back line of the Vampire Coast, which enabled the Carronades to shoot a lot into Felix, into Gotrek, into Faye Enchantress's face. On top of it, he spent so much time with the micro-swing that front line, I don't think that the back line could really come online a lot. Balance power bar shifting pretty heavily now for the Vampire Coast. Kind of straggling, or taking apart these straggling portions of the Beastmen, or the Peasant Bowman, I meant to say. Got a nice summon here of the Zombie Pirate Gunnery mobs. Shooting into them, just right abreast of them. Whew! And there we go. I think army losses are full going across the board now. There it is. So, it looks like we can see Randommnix and Undertaker now 1-1 in the finals. This is a best of 5. So we're going to be pushing into our next match here, but taking a look, I mean, if Luther Harkin, the devastating bomb of destruction didn't happen to Gotrek and Felix, I would have really liked to see how Randommnix was going to play the three of them together. I really liked that approach as far as a Doom, a Death Star goes. I really wanted to see it come online, but we got a lot of really good charges with the Errants and the Knights of the Realm to the back line, but I think they just didn't have enough oomph to really push through all the polearms they were dealing with. They were trying to go for those Zombie Pirate Gunnery mobs with bombs, and I think it's a really good play there, because those things can just melt right through Battle Pilgrims, anything for the most part, when it comes to the Bretonnian front line. But awesome counterplay by Undertaker there, able to take that quick, hard win off of Randommnix and bring it up 1-1 here in the finals. Let's go ahead and jump back over. Come into that. Going to the Ember Glaze. Now this will be a pretty interesting map, as I believe it's a little bit smaller here. So we'll see how this kind of plays out. Ember Glaze. Here we go. See what their picks and bans are. All the Skaven. You're there, aren't you in here? Or I think in the whole screen. Oh, no, you're not. I'm sorry, Queek. So again, coming into our third match now of the day for the finals against Randommnix and Undertaker. They both have 1-1 against each other. They've both taken their first loss of the game between each other, or the day between each other now. So it's going to be interesting to see what we get at the Ember Glades. They're doing their picks and bans right now. We just saw, of course, Vampire Coast versus Bretonnia. We'll see what we get here in this next match. I'm really excited to see how this kind of plays out. Oh, man. One. Yes, Feathington, how are you? The finals are being played right now, Feathington. Alright, the players were asking how many bans they get now that it's game 3. They get 1 ban going forward, not 2 anymore. Fun should spice things up. We got a massive 286 of you guys tuning in here today. Make sure you're going ahead and liking that stream. It's awesome for any and all YouTubers that you do watch, guys. Real Juice Man, welcome aboard. Looks like Randommnix is going to be going with the Dark Elves. To see what the ban is. I don't speak Polish, so I'm completely lost. Oh, excuse me. And Undertaker is going with the Tomb Kings. So it was Random chose the Dark Elves and banned the Beastmen, and Undertaker went with the Tomb Kings. So again, it's going to be game 3 of our best of 5 finals here against Randommnix and Undertaker in the second qualifier for the second season of the WCCL. We're coming up on hour 2, making some good time here. Hey, Border Collie, how are you doing, man? Kalita, please. I wish. You don't really see Kalita too often. Ryan Borgia dropping $5 saying, give him your money. Thank you very much for your donation, Ryan Borgia. I appreciate it very much, man. Anytime you guys donate it, guys, I really, really appreciate it. So, I am massively grateful. Fuck. Pay this man for his labor. Jesus. I'm like a cam girl. If you want to go to my pay site, you can get pictures of me in a man thong with a high elf helmet on. Alright. Undertaker readies hard and fast. He puts a lot of pressure onto Random immediately. That's pretty ballsy move, Cotton. So Random is just finalizing his build here for his Dark Elves, and we'll see this all play out on Ember Glades. It should be a pretty interesting one. Again, like I was saying, a little bit smaller of a map. Me and my lifting singlet? I don't think I have any pictures of me, like... I don't think I have any pictures of me in the singlet itself. Like, I have video of me lifting in the singlet. It's funny, whenever you show up to an Olympic weightlifting competition, everyone's got, like, red or black singlets. I go in a bright purple singlet. I don't give a fuck. No, I have me with my, like... block-off shirt on with my medal, but I don't have any actual pictures of me in the singlet. Fortunately. Just the vids. Picture me with a Rapunzel de Leoness wig on, but keeping the beard, but in everything else. Big Headtaker dropping a $5. I don't have USD. I read it. I don't have USD, but you have $5 worth of Warpstone for you. Thank you very much, Queek. Dropping out $5 donation. Always, always very appreciated. Would you want to see me as like a naughty Sanguinius, Crisps? Is that the cosplay that you want out of me? Just like me with big flowing blonde hair with just a toga on? One nipple popping out. Nipple armor all over the place. Over a little bit. Nissan? I don't have a cowl that big. It was a fucking cowl like up to here, man. Massive. Man, imagine me in a Marathi cosplay. I would wear the shit out of a fucking man thong and like thigh-high boots. Glowy, like shiny leather thigh-high boots. This is rap horn? Did you say rap horn? There's the rap horn. You thought I didn't have it, the button on call? It's still there. I save that for the campaign streams, but you call for a rap horn, get a rap horn. We're waiting for all of our competitors to load in right now. It's like every time you go out to like a club or a bar, anywhere where there's a DJ, and like you get someone who jumps on the mic and is like, "Yeah, I hope you're having a good time tonight." Okay, yeah. And it's like, yeah, man. Now I'm having a good time. I heard the rap horn. Now I can really go wild over here. Players are still loading into the map here right now. Again, anytime we always have players that are joining from across the world, Europe, US, Canada, all over the place. So whenever they do join in, oftentimes it does take some time for those two connections to meet in the middle and make a baby. All right, we've loaded into the map. Our players are going to be setting up their armies. Again, here we're going to have Randommnix on the Dark Elves, followed by TheUndertaker playing the Tomb Kings in Game 3 of our finals. If there was a cosplay, any cosplay I could probably pull off in the Warhammer world, it would more than likely be Wolfric the Wanderer. I feel like a cultist of Nurgle in real life. What, did you come into my stream with coronavirus? God damn it! An Alariel cosplay with a fucking wig that barely fits my head, just like off to the side a little bit. I am Alariel. Brother! Alright. Let's take a look here. Oh, Random's still kind of setting up a little bit more. Oh, Volkmar would be a good one, but I mean, like, if I were to do the cosplay right this second, I'd have to shave my beard for Volkmar. I don't have as imposing of a mustache as he does. Battle brother. So let's take a look over here at Random's army. He's got a nice big portion of some dreaded Dark Elves. So he's got some Dread Spears, but he's got a main center line of Black Ark Corsairs. There's what, 5 here? 2, 4, 5. Anchoring the line are some Dread Spears, and take a look at this. He's really spread out across the entire battlefield. I like this approach. He's going to have some support too from the Scourge Runner chariots, which we've seen are so disgustingly strong. So much anti-large AP damage coming out of these things. Take a look at, they also have, this one has the poison damage on it, because it's the Ravager's Rakarth. Also going to be seeing a Feral Manticore. I think there's 2 of them. Yeah, 2 Feral Manticores, some Kolba Knights on the far flank, followed by Supreme Sorceress of Beasts, and supporting 2 units of Dark Shards with shields. Now, another unit of Kolba Knights. Now, taking a look over here, too. Ooh, we already see some Ushabti Great Bows shooting downrange at the Dark Elves. We see a nice good front line of Skeleton Spearmen. Nothing crazy there. Then it's following 3 units of Skeleton Archers, 3 Ushabti Great Bow, and then 2 units of Tomb Guards with Halberds and the Kepra Guard. This is a nice layered formation here. Oh no! Undertaker forgot his Statue of the Imperishable over here. But a nice layered formation of Tomb Kings against a ravening horde. I really like that. I unfortunately did not see the nerf on the Scourge Runner chariots to remember exactly what it is, but you can see that even then, they're just bulldozed right through this unit of King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion. The Black Ark Corsairs looking to get in close and personal and do some damage. Those Scourge Runner chariots wanting to get some damage too on those Ushabti, but going to have to pull back from that fight a little bit. Now, the cool thing here about the Black Ark Corsairs is that they are going to be doing a lot of anti-infantry damage to all of these Skeleton Spearmen very succinctly and very well. Now, another summon of another Feral Manticore coming onto the battlefield. We can see they've jumped into this back line. They're shutting down this unit of Ushabti Great Bow, and they already have some support coming in from the Tomb Guards with Halberds. But boom, look at that. Kolba Knights ripping right into this unit of Skeleton Archers on the left flank. The right flank pushing heavily against the units of both the Rakarth Ravager's Rakarth and the Scourge Runner Chariots over on that far right. And the center line getting a little bit of tense situations coming on from the Dark Shards, but this left flank is getting a lot of pressure from Randommnix. He's using these Cold One Knights to really just push in as much as he can, using the supports of the Feral Cold Ones to try and get as much momentum as he can to push out. Now another good charge coming in from these Cold One Knights, looking to kind of, again, push all the way in. The Dread Spears have wheeled around on the right flank, jumping into the Blessed Legion of Fuck Off here. Fuck Off as well. And you can see, boom, look at this big charge coming in, right into the rear of those Skeleton Spearmen, but then pulling out the last minute to get another charge somewhere else. This fellow Manticore has been shut down pretty hard, and it is doing a little bit of rampaging going on, unfortunately. Another summon down of a good Feral Manticore in the backline from this Supreme Sorceress of Beasts. And the Ushapti summon on the Dark Shards Bolt Fiends is a good move here by Undertaker to try and break up some of that AP missile damage coming down range and hitting into his Ushapti Great Bow. Nice, good counterplay there. Now, Tomb Guard are going to be squaring off against these Black Ark Corsairs. I believe Fuck Off is how it's pronounced. You can see more Dark Shards shooting in. And the Black Ark Corsairs, again, we expected them to make short work. Ooh, an explosion over there, over onto those Spearmen and Black Ark Corsairs. Again, we expected them to make short work of the Spearmen in the front line, and they're now pushing through, and they're going to be facing the Kepra Guard. Kepra Guard do have anti-infantry. They have some, I kept looking at that symbol going AP, magic damage, and a fair amount of armor, but we'll see how they kind of fare against this situation here. I think a Flock of Dooms is coming down, or the Desiccation. Incantation of Desiccation coming down, overcasted, really reducing that melee attack on all of these Black Ark Corsairs, doing a real good play over there. This right flank, though, is continuing to take a lot of damage in from these Dark Shards, and the left flank, we can see that the Bolt Fiends have been caught up by these Ushapti, which are just about on their last leg of their summon, and boom, they have now exploded. The Bolt Fiends are now free to do some serious damage across the board. The Scourge Runner Chariot on this right flank is now free to do some damage, and I believe the Ravager's Rakarth were shut down already. So I think we're really seeing the balance of power bar starting to tick in the favor of Randommnix's Dark Elves. He's kept a lot of really great pressure this entire game from both the Dark Shard elements of his fight and from wheeling around on the left and right flanks here, right? You saw those Cold One Spear Riders get right into the fight, shutting down those archers, at the same time using the Feral Manticores in this pocket over here to really threaten the leadership elements as well as those Ushapti Greatbow, forcing them out of the defensive pocket created by the Spearmen and the Tomb Guards and the Kepra Guard. I really like that. The Supreme Sorceress just taunting over there, wearing her thong, showing off her amazing set of abs. Another explosion in here with this little defensive pocket. Feral Manticores in here. We are all of the Feral Corsairs, the rest of the Corsairs, and here it is. The Dark Shards pouring in the damage, all into this unit of Kepra Guard, into the Tomb Guard, as well as Setra the Imperishable. Look at this portion wheeling around over here to get invested in this fight. I'd say Randommnix is going to be taking another win off of the mighty Undertaker here. Desiccation dropping down, I believe. Oh no, it was Flock of Doom. Now actually Flock of Doom is still going to do a good amount of damage to Tomb Guard. I mean, they still only have 50 armor, so Flock of Doom does more damage to lightly armored units, of course. Look at that. Just shooting him apart. Kind of focusing here on this last little fight here. Duel of the Ages. Yeah, just throwing bones all over the place. The chat is filled with boners. Incantation of Defense? Defense. Protection, I think is what I meant to say. But Jaff's Incantation of Cursed Blades and of Protection here. Physical resistance bonuses as well as weapon damage and AP. That's going to help out here. And you know, Randommnix isn't jumping into the fray too crazy here. He's just using some of this range play, shooting into these guys as best they can. Just kind of whittling down Setra the Imperishable for the all-in jump-in right here. What's all the way up here? Oh, Cold One Knife. Setra may not serve, but he got served. You suckers is dead, because today you got served. And there it is. Setra the Imperishable doth now perish against the might of Randommnix's Dark Elves. So Randommnix coming up here 1-2 against Undertaker. And I think that this was a really awesome build for Random. He went really wide with the Black Ark Corsairs, able to push in a lot of anti-infantry against what he was probably expecting in a lot of chaff infantry from Undertaker. But Undertaker 2 had a really interesting army in that it was layered with a nice front line of chaff, a nice secondary line of skeleton archers to counterplay any kind of larger beasts, anything like that, and the new Shopti Great Bows to pour in some more damage. I think what I would have liked to have seen was maybe no Kepra Guard, one less Ushapti Great Bow, and maybe one less Skeleton Archer, and more responding... God, my brain just crapped out right there. More responding Chariot play, even some Skeleton Horsemen. But I think, too, that Undertaker was planning on dealing with a lot more Dark Riders with repeater crossbows, which you can really shut down, too, with all 6 of these range units. So coming up here to game 4, we're jumping on to the Spite Reach. Back to the bracket. So, Randommnix up 2-1 against Undertaker now. We're into game 4. So if Randommnix can get another win right now, he's going to be completing the finals, earning himself a warp token, where he can then go into the grand finals now against Imperator. He is the one who won our previous qualifier. So we'll see how this goes. This is every single final thus far in our second season has been a really good, awesome cockfight. I mean, I'm really loving how these armies have gone back and forth very heavily at each other. And there's a lot of really awesome sportsmanship between these two. They're talking a lot in between every single match, having a good time. So there's no hard feelings here, which is probably the best thing, again, like I've always said about the competitive world of Total War Warhammer, is especially on the high level, you have a lot of guys that they play against each other all the time. They're all really close friends. So I really, really enjoy that. If you do want to get involved in multiplayer in Total War Warhammer 2, please join Turin's Weekly Tournament Discord, where you can join either the ECL, Eternal Challenger League, that's hosted on Turin's Discord, or the WCCL that's hosted right here. And again, this is what we use for our decisions, who we're going to be inviting to the Ever-Chosen Invitational. This is where we can really vet out the type of player you are, what your sportsmanship is like, stuff like that. Yeah, well, it's called Turin's Weekly Tournament Discord. All right, so it looks like Grombrandal is going with... I'm seeing the word M-A-P-A. Mappa? Like, they talk about the map. I look at the map, check the map. Like, oh, the map's all right. Fuck. So it looks like we will be seeing Undertaker playing the Dawi. Still waiting for the ban in the secondary choice here. Oh, so going with the Dawi and banning the High Elves. We'll see what Randommnix selects here. Ah, Dobja. I know that word. That's the only one I got. No War of the Beard rematch. Unfortunately, not Great Goat on Fire. Because we know who'd win, the High Elves. Everyone calm down. Calm down, chat. I know you're about to all freak out at that. Alright, so it's... Oh, a very, very good matchup. So it's going to be the Skaven for Randommnix versus Undertaker's Dawi. They've wronged us! Guys, I cannot wait to show you the shirt I have planned for the channel. It's in the midst of being made right now. Let's see if I can give you guys like a little sampler platter of what it looks like. Sparty earned instant +4 to grudge. Fast. Okay. Yeah, I'll be able to show you guys a little sample of what the shirt is gonna look like. But basically, I'm kind of like using the like the Shovel Knight / Dark Souls imagery of, like, you know, rest here, weary traveler. And I'm going to be kind of combining that with Warhammer 40,000 and all the different races from that, and kind of create like a neutral zone where all the races can kind of like relax type thing, as the premise for the shirt. So I'm sure you guys will dig it when it comes out. All right, we're jumping into our match here. They both readied up. Undertaker is going to be playing the Dwarfs against Random's Skaven. So this might be a pretty interesting one. Skaven have a lot of answers to the Dawi. The Dawi have a lot of answers to the Skaven. But I do think that the amount of Doom Flayers, the Doom Wheels, the amount of range damage, the amount of siege engines, everything that the Skaven can bring is going to be a very huge uphill fight for the Dawi. The Dawi at the same time can really work their way through chaff very quickly, depending on what kind of siege engines they take, if there's miners with blasting charges, if there's iron breakers. So it's going to be very interesting to see these two armies kind of play themselves out. Beards and belts, lads. Put it on Yeezys. Oh my god. Yeah, so since I'm going to be doing Doom Eternal on the channel, I don't know if I should do Doom 2016 first. Because I actually never played that one. We're still waiting for them to load in here real quick, guys, so just be patient, please. I'm actually really excited for Doom Eternal. It looks really, really good. Expect to see a lot of videos on it coming up. Yeah, I'd probably play. I'd play it on the channel like as a late night stream, but I get scared. I'm very jumpy. Like, I know Doom's not like a horror suspense game like Outlast, but like if I'm playing Doom and like all of a sudden the lights go out and then they start summoning zombie or demons, in that second I'll scream. I will legitimately like wail. I mean, I'll come to quickly and like start to kill stuff, but like my response, like the screen will fly everywhere. Alright, so we're loaded in. We're waiting for our armies to kind of get set up a little bit here. This is going to be very interesting. I'm looking over here at Undertaker's army. I'm looking over at Random's army. Once they get a little more set up, I'll be able to jump into it and show you guys what's going on. Your horror. I remember when Doom first did its first real big revamp back in like, 2004? 2006 maybe? That one legitimately scared the crap out of me, man. Because you're walking through this base on Mars and like everything, like no one knows what the hell's going on. There's fucking heads in toilets. Like, ooh. June 2005. Thank you, Ben. Guys, I got scared playing like Bloodborne. Oh, 2005 is the movie? Dude, wheel should... Fuck that. Or man, when Fear... That, you guys all remember the first-person shooter Fear? I screamed so much playing that game. Alright, so it looks like we're going to actually look at Randommnix's army while he's a little bit more set up right now. Let's jump into this fight. So again, this is our fourth game of the day on the map of Spite Reach. So in the front, we're going to see something we've kind of already seen before. Skaven slaves, supported by some clan rats. Ported again, poison wind mortar, but 2 units this time of Warplock Jazales, not Natty Bubos. Ported in the back then by the Death Runners here and Death Runners here, and then a unit of Dwarf Thing Menace, which is very fitting. The Doomflayer itself was created in the halls of a Dwarf Hold when they were besieging it. They took the ruined portions of a gyrocopter and kind of slapped it together to make a synthesis between a Doom Wheel and a gyrocopter to make the Doomflayer. That's the synthesis of the Doomflayer. Also, we're going to see Ikit Claw and a Doomflayer as well. Now, taking a look at Undertaker's army, There are some tricky tricks. The front line is comprised almost entirely of dwarf warriors. Making sure there's no longbeards. We have the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass here. We also see a following line of miners with blasting charges, which are going to be hucking that over the line of dwarf warriors as the charge happens. Then a supporting line too of some rangers, and a following line in the very back of some slayers, generic versions, not giant slayers, just the dragonback slayers on the far right over here. Taking a look to our leadership elements, we're going to see Belegar Ironhammer and Gyrocopter Brimstone Gun, and then 2 generic, I believe. Yeah, 2 generic Gyrocopters. So we've already seen this almost exact build from Undertaker, so it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. Got a nice charge in already from Doomflayers right over the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, doing some quick initial prodding damage into them. Random just already looking to kind of adjust his field of play here, shooting real heavily into that Gyrocopter, just completely bursting it down. Remember, these guys have AP, they've got the Sunder damage, they're going to be doing so much to them. Lists horror games. I like horror games though. Like I love horror movies. I can't watch a horror movie without like plugging my ears and closing my eyes. All right, Howling Warp Gale shutting these these Gyrocopters down. You're gonna have a lot of Warplock Jezzail fire pouring into them, getting them knocked out of this fight as fast as possible. You can see these mortars shooting downrange as well. But there are some tricks here. Undertaker is not going to take this one sitting down. He has to come back from this or he's going to lose the finals entirely. So expect to see some tricky tricks from Undertaker for sure. The mortars though getting some shots down onto these Warriors of Dragonfire Pass again, getting some good charges in from the flayers. The Dragonback Slayers though looking to chop these flayers up as well. I'm loving this beautiful scenic fight here. Rangers already getting some good damage in downrange. Looking to just shoot through the Skaven Slaves. They're going to get mulched up right here. Belegar just leading the charge as well. Waiting for those blasting charges to come ripping out. It's probably one of my favorite things. And the Warplock Jezzails have spied this unit of Gyrocopters on the far right over here, but not this one on the far left, which is coming in. And looking to shoot down... Oh, into the Death Runners, actually. So one unit of Skaven Slaves has been shut down, and the nice thing here too is, again, the point of these slaves is to keep a nice distance in between the squishier units in the back here. There's still a whole line of clan rats that can really take a lot of damage here, so I like that this play has been going down. A Warplock or Gyrocopter shut down from the Howling Warp Gale on Ikit Claw, keeping this thing in place so it can just be torn apart by the Warplock Jezzails. Now, the unfortunate thing here is those Warplock Jezzails can't focus on any of the Rangers that are shooting into the remainder of the Skaven force, but that's okay. Those bombers would be ripping through some Skaven with those guns if it wasn't for that action. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. Summon up of Clan Rats coming down here, getting those blinders with blasting charges. So I like this play here by Undertaker. He did not use his miners' blasting charges on the slaves. He just let the might of the warriors carry that fight. Then he was using the blasting charges on the clan rats, which is really the real force. So that's the real front line. I like that play because it's going to enable him to get the most out of his blasting charges and not waste them on Skaven slaves, which are going to lose to dwarf warriors no matter what. But look at this. Clan Rats here pushing through this unit of Clan Ekron miners, now into the Rangers, the soft back line of the dwarfs. And you can see that those Slayers, they're really far spread out here, so they're going to have to jump back into this engagement quickly. And they're fighting now against some Death Runners and some the Clan Vulcan's Tail Slashers. Over here, you can see the Poison Wind Mortars dropping down right on top of these Plague Monks, just shooting right onto Belegar Ironhammer. And I think the undercard's big trump card with the Gyrocopters is unfortunately not going to be able to pan out too hard. Oh, a nice lockdown here from Ikit Claw, keeping everything posted up in this little pocket here, using the Doomflayers to just kind of charge through these Rangers. Again, I like Randommnix's ability to respond very well and using these layers to help really insulate a lot of his army. This little pocket here is having some issues with the Dragonback Slayers and shutting down the Plague Priest, unfortunately, which is able to get a final summon of Plague Monks out. Plague Monks will probably do some good damage to these Dwarf Warriors and these Dragonback Slayers in this small little pocket of time here. Uh-oh. I feel like our Iron Hammer just getting shot up. Army losses are kicking in, and it looks like Randommnix is going to be pulling ahead now and winning this finals. Oh, wait a minute. What? I had this confused the entire time. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. I'm not drunk. Jesus. Randommnix is going to be winning the finals here with his Skaven with a 3-1 win against Undertaker. Man, that was a... I liked those builds. Those builds were very unique, but I think that Undertaker played it a little too similar to his last build. I think the Gyrocopters are a really cool, very interesting pick here in this scenario, but I think that because of it, the triple pick or selection of the Gyrocopters really kind of helped him out there, or hindered him. I think taking, in fact, even some Rat Ogres would have been more... I'm sorry, Rat Ogres, Jesus Christ. I think taking Longbeards would have helped him out more in this engagement, or even just some siege engines, something to do more damage to the Skaven. The Gyrocopters were really cool initially, but I just think that they couldn't really come online hard enough. They were shut down with Howling Warp Gale and the double pick of the Warplock Jezzails. Had this just been the Natty Babos, I think they would have struggled to knock down all these Gyrocopters, but they were able to do it one at a time. You had the Brimstone gun right in the beginning. That was in the very front, shut down quickly. And then it was one, then the other. So I think that pushed heavily against Undertaker because of the heavy point investment. But again, I liked Undertaker's ability to use those blasting charges strategically, not wasting them on Skaven Slaves, which just got mulched up by the Dwarf Warriors anyway. But again, Randommnix using his his weapons teams to real great execution here. Over 100 kills from the Poison Wind Mortars. We've seen these things being so effective across all of the Skaven play there. So an amazing grudge match between the Dwarfs and the Skaven, but it looks like the Skaven secure another victory for their continuing growth and the corruption of the Underway and the Vermintide. And we're going to be pushing here to the very end of our stream here today, guys. It looks like a win to the Randommnix, who will be getting a Warp token and pushing into the Grand Finals. That is a to-be-determined date, but we do have 2 more Warpstone Cup qualifiers coming up. One next Saturday and the one following after that. You can see these streamed here on the channel, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want to get involved in the multiplayer scene, please make sure that you jump into the tournament Discord that you can find a link in the description below. Check here real quick. Oh, they're just talking to each other in Polish. But again, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. We've got a lot of streams still coming Tuesday and Thursday. We'll be playing our Heinrich Kemmler campaign as we continue those. So if you want to see those, they start at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. A lot of quick battles, a lot of lore. Soon to come, we'll be playing some Doom on the channel too, some Doom Eternal. So a lot of really cool stuff coming your way here in 2020 on the channel, guys. So I'm really excited to be showing it off to you. Looking at over here at chat. Oh, and let's roll these credits here. Let's roll these credits. Let me do this. Browsers. There. Now I can roll. There we go. And a huge thank you to all of you guys who donated here today. Big Head Taker, Ryan Borgia, Jim Boj. Guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Anytime you guys donate it is massively helpful. So again, guys, thank you very much for your donations throughout this whole entire stream. Thank you for your support. We've had almost 300 of you guys here, so it's been a lot of fun. So check out streams on Tuesday and Thursday. We'll have some late night streams of Doom just to kind of have some fun on the channel here. But be on the lookout for some more lore, some more competitive multiplayer as I learn how to play better from the tutelage of Falcon. We have a fun fight coming up where I do not play the High Elves tomorrow, and I play the Wood Elves for a change. Thanks, Deacon. 2.5 hour stream. This was a good one here. But again, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. A huge hats off to Randommnix and to Grombrindal for fighting in the finals. And also to HDS and Ronin, who did play against them. And to all the competitors who didn't make it to the semifinals or the finals. Thank you so much for playing here in the second qualifier. If you want to get involved in the third qualifier or the next Eternal Challenger qualifier, again, we're in the Discord in the description below. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Again, a thank you to Wicked, Crisps, Aerocrastic, Turin, Milk and Cookies for jumping into any of the moderators who helped out throughout the fight. Thank you guys so much. Oh, and what is this? Add moderator. Falcon is now a moderator on the channel. That should have been done a long time ago. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one, and take care.